We're gonna rephrase that.
Well done.
We're gonna get focused up here, and I'm gonna stop rambling.
When the day ends, the real conversations begin. Out there, it's all deadlines, decisions, and doing what you have to do. But in here, you get to think. You get to breathe. You get to build. This is OTC After Hours, where entrepreneurs unwind, talk real, and grow together.
Welcome back, everyone, to the OTC After Hours podcast. As you can see, we have a full room, a full studio, if you will.
Yes.
So what I suggest is let's all introduce ourselves. I'm Travis, your host, of course. And let's just go around the table.
I'm Isadore.
Alex Donnolo.
Brian Horan.
Austin Munda.
Thank you. Very wordy. Very introductions today. That's great.
Not the ish anymore.
Well, you only said your name, so we followed suit.
Yeah. It's like you guys have never been to a network before. You're supposed to have the elevator pitch ready to go, and you're just like...
That's how we tag the out.
Yes, that's right. Your shout-outs for the things to look forward to.
It keeps people around until the end of the podcast.
Yes.
The tens of viewers.
So all 10 of you that have been watching since we started this very successful, amazing, interesting podcast, the way this works is we were all at a networking meeting for Off the Clock last week.
Yep.
And this episode is going to follow that topic. And the topic of that was a fancy way of saying work-life balance.
Right.
I came up with a really witty thing, but once the meeting's done, it just kind of goes out. Yep. It was a really, really good meeting, really good discussion. I loved having all these different perspectives on something that we're all living currently. I got a little teary-eyed and choked up, which I didn't expect in front of a room full of smoking, drinking men. And I was like, oh, hold it in, man, hold it in. But it made me realize how powerful this group is, because, if 15-year-old me thought I'd be leading this group and then getting worked up and, don't cry on stage. I would have felt judged, but instead I felt like the respect of the room.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think you getting vulnerable like that changed the environment, which allowed other people to be more vulnerable as well.
Oh yeah,
and that added to the conversation, which will carry over to tonight for sure.
Directly after, we had some huge contributions in the conversation that really were just phenomenal, and almost wish we recorded it, which is why we're here today.
Right.
We're going to try to recapture some of the wisdom said, and the way this works is that we troubleshoot the thing, we brainstorm, we think tank in the networking meeting, and then we bring it to the world stage to share our knowledge and share what we've all decided together.
Yep.
So who would like to start?
Don't everybody jump at once.
I know.
Well, where do you want to start the conversation at? Because I think we've got different perspectives at the table right now. Just different stages of life. So where do you want to start?
Well, let's just start with you, Brian.
Okay.
Because I know that we're counting down the clock.
Yeah, we are on the countdown.
When you emerge into fatherhood.
Yes. Fatherhood is about to come physical, in about 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today as we're recording. So business life is going to change. It's not going to be the same, because it's been my wife and I we've been in business now. Saturday will be 15 years. And the rhythm and everything that we've been doing has changed over the last 9 months, and it's going to obviously adapt, and I can plan for it as much as I can, but at the same time I won't know it until we physically see and start to walk out. We've got a newborn. I'm not sleeping, all of that stuff. So figuring that out, I can plan for it as an analytical guy all I want, but being ready for the practical is something that's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if not sooner. So.
Are you just speed reading those parenting books?
I'm listening to Audible books on 2.5 speed, because I don't have the time to read all of them. So.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a change, but the reason that we did go into business was for times like this. I've been able to be at every OB appointment, be at every ultrasound, and that way it's been a thing for us. It's not like I'm at work because I have to clock in and clock out. Mm-hmm. I'm able to be there with her, work my schedule around, and starting our business then, we're getting to walk out what we did it for now, and it's just going to continue to grow from there because we want to live life on our own terms.
Yeah.
Life by design, not by default.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because when business really started to take off and become like the thing, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to be a business owner, entrepreneur the rest of my life. I'm loving it. The added benefit of the flexibility around the children's schedule and always being available, especially if you're coming from a broken home and you're a single dad, and then the kid goes to the co-parent's house and something happens and the other co-parent is with the rigorous structure of their schedule, you're able to fill in all those gaps, and you're able to actually be available no matter what, because you control your schedule. And a lot of what we talked about in the meeting last week was how to prioritize time spent with the kids, but also like being able to prioritize shifting around your schedule so you can do the things that need to happen. Because I mean, some people working a standard job and affording daycare, you're going to spend your entire paycheck
Just
that you would make to have that daycare.
Yep.
And, you know, it takes some very special scheduling gymnastics to get it set around the kid's schedule. But if you're an entrepreneur, you're able to...
You've got more flexibility in that
way
regard.
more flexibility.
Yeah, I know for me, one of the things that was important to us, my wife and I, is just the way we grew up was we didn't want our past to be our future. So that was one reason that we decided to go into business, so then we could have the opportunity of, you know, my dad passed away when I was 10, so I didn't grow up with that father figure there. So that's something that's super important to me, is to be available, to be present. And I'm not going to do that if I was still working at the food service, you know, still being a pizza manager.
Right.
Like that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
It puts you in a unique position where you can be even more available than
100%.
if you're working 9 to 5, or if you're really trying to make enough money to provide. You can lose that availability to, you know, I mean, the old school, like the 60s, 50s dads, where they'd get home, they'd crack open the beer, they would fall asleep in the chair, and they'd wake up before everyone else and go to work again.
Right.
While the mom was home. And as like parents, as fathers in this generation, I heard that I read something the other day that said that parents, like fathers of this generation, are spending more time with their kids than ever before, than any generation before us. And that's partly because the only way to afford anything is for both parents to be working.
Right.
So you're constantly playing hot potato with being able to care for the child and keep affordability and keep that lifestyle up.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting, because I think a lot of good fathers are emerging from the necessity of needing to pass the kid, even if you're living together, even if you're still together in a solid marriage. It's a team sport. The wife isn't just staying at home anymore, taking care of the kids most of the time.
Right.
And
I've heard a lot that I've heard the phrase, like you described, the 50s and 60s parents. Dad worked, mom had food, had the kids, like that whole, you know, leave it to Beaver, you know,
right.
vibe. And people are saying we're making the sacrifice to live on one income so we can have that lifestyle at home. And it's kind of heartbreaking to hear like the sacrifice, but I think that's where entrepreneurship can come into play, to allow people to now control their income and, you know, being able to provide the great lifestyle that they want, that's important, but at the same time not have to make the sacrifices of, I'm working somewhere that I don't really like, but I like my income, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
So
I love that analogy of the hot potato. I think that's good.
It's so accurate.
I'll play devil's advocate here, because maybe there's people listening who, you know, they're like, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, but I don't feel like I have that much freedom.
Right.
Or flexibility. And honestly, I can kind of relate to that. And a lot of it comes from my personality. Like, even though the business is successful, it's self-sustaining, we have staff, we have a team. You know, I was up at 5 a.m. this morning. I worked out. I left before my daughters were even awake. I've been at the office. Now I'm shooting this podcast. My daughters are calling me, when are you going to be home? You know? And so it's like, I'm always feeling conflicted of, you know, like, you know, I'm always chasing and wanting more as an entrepreneur. I think that's part of, you know, the gift and the curse of owning your own business is, like I mentioned at the networking event, it's like, yeah, we create freedom and flexibility, but we also, now we don't have a family that relies on us. We have clients and employees that also rely on us to keep growing, right? So for me, like, I'm not perfect. We're not a perfect family. My wife and I run the business together. So there's drama that comes with that. We take our work home with us. Oftentimes we're working from home. Right. Yep. The kids are exposed to some of the chaos that comes from running a business, and it's not always glamorous. And so, like I spoke about, we try to just honor the grind for like a month at a time, and then unplug as a family and go on trips. We don't do family dinner. We have I have four daughters. One's a baby. She's 10 months old. And then I have 3 preteens. And so they're all in different sports, gymnastics, music. My one daughter plays competitive softball. We try to coach their sports when we can to be engaged that way. But honestly, a lot of the time it's a shit show trying to do dinner together, to find time to tuck them all in at night. And so my philosophy is like, lead by example, always be there. You don't necessarily have to have set aside time to be present, but if you're always available when they need you, when they're going through something hard, and you just can take that time to say, tell me about it, I care about this, like I want to know what's going on in your life. The essence of my philosophy around this is you have to have grace too, that you are building something bigger than yourself. Oftentimes there's a bigger mission and a purpose attached to what we're doing as entrepreneurs and business owners. And you have to honor that and accept that there are sacrifices, right. But at least your kids get to see you do something amazing and lead by example. And, we don't have written codes of conduct or core values, but I do think that as a family, like, the biggest things we try to honor is we learn from our mistakes. That's just really important. Like, we don't judge each other when we mess up. We just take accountability and we say, okay, what did you learn from this? And, I'm the first one in my household when I mess up to apologize and own up to things. And so there's ways you can be a good leader, be a present parent without necessarily, having to always be present physically, right? If that makes sense.
No,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, if you make your presence well known within the home, within that dynamic of the relationship, then you're there when you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they always have something to look forward to, or they know because you've been so involved in the way that they think and the way that the rules are made, the structure and everything like that.
The effort's there.
Yeah. In my experience, they feel your presence even when you're not. But I mean, how do you kind of explained it, but like what specific things do you do to make sure that you're getting that quality time?
For me, it's, like I said, we coach sports, right? So that's a way for us to be involved and partake in their sports that they're doing. So we coach basketball or softball. When we pick the kids up from school, they go to school in Liberty Lake, so it's a 30-minute drive. We have 30 minutes on the drive back to ask about their day and, ask how they're doing. We go snowboarding together. I've taught all my daughters how to snowboard, and then we take trips as a family. That's just an opportunity for us to work hard, play hard, and then, spend 3, 4, 5 days just unplugged with quality time. That's kind of cool.
I love that. We were talking about this the other day. My family did the same thing. They're not entrepreneurs, but they both are like lifers at their jobs, like 40 plus years at their specific position.
Congrats at your dad for the 40 years at the resort. I saw that.
Yeah. The resort just posted a video with my dad. It was a Friends parody, was it Friends or no? It was
Full House.
Full House parody. Yeah.
40 years. I didn't even realize the resort had been around that long.
Yeah.
I think it's 89 or 88 or something like that.
He started at Beverly's back when it was called Cloud 9.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah, before the name changed, and it's been a staple in our community for a long time. But they, every summer, especially when I got old enough to watch my siblings as the older sibling, they would both work an entire week, and we wouldn't really see them, right, during the summer. A whole week of, dad has evening shift, mom has night shift, dad is there during the day. They would just changing of the guard, keep going, and they work as much as they could. But then they take a week off together and we go camping.
That's cool.
All summer long, all of my childhood. Work hard, play hard. They scheduled it. They intentionally did it that way. So even though they didn't get a lot of time together because one of them was always there, or I was there, or we had a babysitter, they worked their butts off so we could really steal away that time when then there was no distractions. It was all of us there as a unit, which was huge. And I mean, I try to follow that with my daughter and everything. It's like, hey, we are working hard right now so we can do this right here. Or when I'm home with her, we always have a TV show we're watching. Like we watched all the way through, like Psych, and we just finished, we watched Psych and we watched Chuck, and we just finished Parks and Recreation. We just started Scrubs.
Okay.
And it's always shows that they're a little mature for her, even, over the last few years, but it's stuff that creates conversations with her and I. Like, I mean, look at Scrubs. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
The writers of that worked on Boy Meets World, and the creator of that went on to create Ted Lasso and Shrinking.
Like a lesson. There's always
exact same crew that worked on those shows, and the way they wrote it was there was always some kind of lesson, some kind of deep thing, and there's good, solid communication throughout all these shows where someone's upset, but they actually talk about it.
Right.
They don't hold it out for the drama. They don't have people freak out. They don't play it off for comedy in that way. They let the consequences stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, what episode the other day is like, they say that 1 in 3 patients will die by the end of the shift. And that's how it starts, as those 3 patients are coming in. And then they all died. And then all the characters reacted because they had all formed relationships with those patients.
Dang.
And they all had to process having done their best to take care of it and the failure they felt. But then the hospital opens again tomorrow, or it never closes. We'll be back for another shift.
Right.
And it's like, and for a 9-year-old to process that, it's a little heavy.
Right.
But
the growth that can come from that and the connection you guys have.
Well, some of my best memories as a kid were watching TV shows with my mom. She'd get off from a long day's worth of work. She'd pour a glass of wine, and that would be our time where we could, we'd watch TV together, Prison Break and Modern Family or whatever. And it doesn't take much. It just goes to show, right? It doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing.
Yeah.
And
I'll be editing like little clips here, but we're in it together.
Yeah.
And I pair everything with a conversation, especially when they're the sponge. When she's that age still and she's still listening to me before the tween years hit and the teen years hit, and I'm bracing for that. But right now,
get ready.
right now, these conversations, the things, the lessons, let's talk about it. Oh, let's talk about it. We're always talking about that because she's a sponge. She's absorbing everything, and it's not, a lot of it's how we act, but if you're also talking and intentionally doing, like having conversations all the time together, some of that's going to stick.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, an interesting dynamic for me is, I had my daughter when I was 19, and her mom and I split up pretty early when she was pretty young. So I had joint custody up until my daughter was like 10. It was just her and I was a single dad, right? And that one-on-one time was just never interrupted. Like when it was my week, it was me and her pretty much the whole week. I would revolve my week around her. And then I married my wife 2.5 years ago. She brought 2 new daughters to the table, which is amazing. Now we have this amazing blended family. But at the same time, there's times where I miss that one-on-one time with my daughter. And of course, there's ways that we do date night with all the daughters so everyone gets that one-on-one time. But it's definitely affected my daughter. I can tell she loves her sisters. She loves her stepmom. But at the same time, I can imagine it's difficult for her going from just me and dad to having a blended family now.
Yeah. I have a similar dynamic where it's, you just have to try to still squeeze whatever you can to allow.
It's life. It just, things change and evolve, and, it's not better or worse. It just is, right?
Yeah. Well, you also teach them how to adapt and how to pivot and how to understand, pivot. Life changes and you can't stop that, but how you think about it, how you prepare for it when you can and how you carry things out from then on out. That is the lesson to be taught.
It's such a big lesson. Your reality is your perception. It really is, you know.
And your perception is your reality.
And your perception is your reality.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
Yeah. Isadore.
Yeah.
I think this will be a fun perspective because younger guy,
Right.
not married.
Right.
So what's
No kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Him and I are both in the same boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 I just have to say, Brian, Travis, and Alex, getting to know you guys and hearing your stories and how you deal with business and life is really inspiring and motivating for a young guy like me to hear what you guys go through, the challenges, the things you think about, the ways you think about your family. Alex, you were just telling us on the way over here how you were in avalanche territory and had to climb 6 hours up a mountain. And the only thing that got you through that was thinking, I don't want to die and have my daughter think that I lost my dad on Christmas.
Yeah.
On
Exactly.
Christmas.
Yeah.
That's a podcast story. Where was that?
Yeah.
Damn.
And
That's amazing.
it's just really inspiring to hear what you guys do and have that drive from your family. So I do really appreciate that. And just from a young guy, perspective, work-life balance, it's not really a thing, right?
Yeah.
My work is my life and my life is my work. And I love that. And I think that you guys even can attest that your life work is just that. Your life is your work is your life. It doesn't really separate it. Your family can see that. You know that. And so me being a young person, being single and being able to really focus on what that is, it's, been a real mind shift, but it always turns back to asking people like Alex and Brian and Travis, what do you guys do right now with the family, with the kids? Because I'm going to get to that point where I'm going to be busy with the wife, with the kids. There's going to be other demands. I don't have that now. That's great. But how can I focus and reorient my life so that when that time comes, I'm not caught in a way where I'm not ready. I'm totally ready and in a mindset to take that on. Because I think a lot of young people, especially people I know, get into a position where they get married, they get into a relationship that later on down the line doesn't work out. And when they're in that relationship, it also stops them from living the dream that they might have been made for, or it might hold it back in a way, right? And so, listening to your guys' story, it really gives me that perspective of what matters most. What's the most important? What's going to drive me to wake up, right? Everyone in business that I've heard is your why is your most important thing. Your why matters, right? And so for every guy I've talked to when it comes to a business owner or guy in business or somebody trying to do something, it's my family. It's my kids. And it's always that why, because we always think of others more than ourselves. When we make our why outside of ourselves, then it gives us that drive. And what's been giving me my main drive just recently has been focusing on having a family one day. One day I'm going to have a daughter or son crying, needing me, wanting that attention, and I'm going to have to know what to do. And I need to know what that right decision is. Personally, I haven't shared with you guys my story. I didn't grow up with a father. My mom worked all the time. I grew up in the ghetto of Minneapolis and didn't have much time with my parents. My mom was awesome, but she was extremely busy. And when she got home, it was her time to relax, right? So what I saw as a work-life balance wasn't similar to what you guys saw, right? I definitely had time with my mom at times, but she was always busy being the sole provider and, being that breadwinner. And so I don't want that for my family. I want to be there for my kids. I want to be there when it matters most. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Hook back in the day.
Phenomenal movie.
There's that scene where dad's not at the baseball game. And I remember having that so deeply embedded in me that I vowed no matter what I do, if my son is doing something, I don't care what I have to do. Nothing matters more than that.
Yeah.
So I know that day will come. Will I have to make that decision? And so I just need to keep being motivated by you guys and keep hearing those stories. So that's why I'm really, have the pleasure of being with you guys, just to get that insight, get that perspective.
I think the one thing I want to encourage you, like just your conversations as you are at off the clock, every other Thursday at the Racketeer, Post Falls, Idaho, is that you're very intentional with your conversations. Mm-hmm. And I think, excuse me, the intentionality in how you're mapping out your future life, like what you want, why you're doing what you're doing.
Yep. Right.
And you're being very proactive when most people your age will probably be reactive.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that it's not going to be perfect. Like I'm not going to, a month from today, I'll have a newborn. I can't prep for everything. So you're going to have to learn in the moment. But I think the intentional work that you're doing now will put you that much farther ahead, and that's the part that I'm excited for what your future brings.
Yeah, and then to piggyback off of that, through my entire life, like I tried to learn from other people's mistakes. That was always my mindset. It's like, oh, they fucked up. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. And it's like, and I never understood the other kids not even wanting to take the knowledge right there as it's being splayed out in front of me of the bad thing that just happened. It's like, why would you not learn from as many people that are screwing up or doing things right as you can? And it shows a lot of wisdom as you're really getting into business, or you're at that time in your life where you could be out partying and living it up and having a great time. But you are choosing to surround yourself with people that have lived it, or are living it, or have their goals set on where they want to go. And you're taking the time to try to soak up as much of that knowledge and learn from it with that recognition of where you want to go and where you want to be, where you'll surpass whoever your mentors are. It's very foolish to be surrounded, even, especially with the internet age, we all see people who are succeeding, and to not try to learn from them just by seeing their example. Not everyone's teaching, but everyone's teaching by their example. Mm-hmm. And it's huge that you're focusing on that. So cheers to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll jump on the bandwagon and commend you as well. Because, you might look up to us, but I wish I was putting myself in the rooms and around the people that you are when I was your age. You know what I mean? And maybe kids your age, and even if they're not partying, they might not feel like they deserve a seat at the table, right? Or I need to kind of hang out in the background until I have accolades or a business or success or a family or whatever it is. But you're going to be light years ahead of all of us in the next 5-10 years, because, the fact that you're putting yourself in these rooms and exposing yourself to these relationships. And like Brian said, just your intentionality in the conversations and how deeply you care about, building meaningful relationships and learning from people. It's really impressive. So
thank you.
100%.
Yeah.
Austin's got some nuggets.
Yeah. Well, I've been running my business for 14 years with my dad, and it's been definitely a journey. Learning different things, doing the different dynamics with technology nowadays, social media. I grew up with my dad. He was around, he was busy. But he made time for me. We hung out, watched movies, played games, stuff like that, went to the beach, did trips. So I had the time. So I definitely want to push that onto my future family as well. It was definitely a good experience to have. My dad was on call most of my childhood. He did what we do down in California for 10 years with the Coast Guard. And, he'd get called out late at night, and, moment's notice, we were hanging out. So I had to definitely change things up quite a bit dealing with that. But thinking about my future family and bringing that into, obviously I'm not on the coast, so it's going to be not as dangerous or, as long. I'm not going to be gone for 24 hours, because sometimes he would be gone for a day.
Right.
But being on call, especially during the height of the summer season, is definitely hard, because you can't take any trips. You can with ample timing and planning, but
you're going to become a snowbird.
Yeah. But even then, I still, there's a chance I can miss out on winter work. I mean, it's rare, but it happens. But it just, I'm like a fanatic with my business. I live and breathe it. Especially this last year. I ended up losing a relationship back in May, and then that kind of hit me hard for a little bit. So I ended up deciding to focus and go full ass on the business, to focus on it, because I didn't want to dwell on things. So I was like, I'm just going to focus on the business, and then that way I'm ready and for when the next one does come, and then I can be more prepared.
Oh yeah, I've done that a couple times where I should be super depressed over here, but look at all the things I could be doing for the business.
Yeah,
using like hustle in your business as a coping mechanism it sometimes it can be a little bit unhealthy.
It can be. Yeah.
You completely put all the emotions on the shelf and to focus on that. My years and years ago, like 4 years ago, that big breakup after a few year relationship, I actually really made myself pause and then just like sit in the sadness and just let it happen. Because when I got divorced years before that, I was just go. I got to fix this house up and sell this house so I can get a new house, so I can do this, so I can do this, so my daughter can have this, and then I'm going to work full-time at the hospital and start the business over here. Every day I'm not working at the hospital. I'll have a buddy with me to help me take care of my daughter. She's coming with us. Parents, just like go. And it helped because I never had to sit there and focus on it. But then I brought all that into the next relationship in a way because I was healing in my new abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And then that was used against me as I'm intentionally trying to unpack and repack the parts of myself that got compartmentalized to survive. And so after that last breakup, I had already made sure that no matter what happened in that relationship, I had my structure of my life still there. So I could go back into the home that I owned and just me and my daughter again, and then just feel it, just really just, right? And feel it. Because I knew that the next relationship I had, I wanted to take the time to figure out who I was again, and then bring that full force into the next relationship. So there's no games. It's just, this is who I am. If in the dating scene, it's not compatible, thank God we found that out.
Right. Yeah.
Or if she's flaky or I'm flaky and they were not feeling it, thank God that we figured this out early on.
Amen.
A quick breakup after a week of dating, thank God, because you could be 2 years down the line and starting over again.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to be selective with that.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting off topic a little bit, but it's so important that your business is part of who you are and you're upfront about it, and your lifestyle and the things you love, the things you enjoy, you fully embrace it and you wear it on your sleeve. You're not extra nice more than you normally would be to the one you're dating. They just need to have that full expectation. This is me. I may change. This is how my communication works. This is how my values work. This is what my life is like. Live life like you intend to live it forever.
Yeah.
And be completely honest.
I think it's a great topic because for me, work-life balance extends beyond family, right? You don't have to have a wife and kids at home to practice work-life balance. Like you touched on, many of us are fanatics when it comes to our business. And honestly, that's part of our gift. Like we were given a gift, and it's a disservice to us and to the world to not pursue that. We're visionaries, we're entrepreneurs, we're creators. And we need to set aside time for our family, but we also need to set aside time to decompress and have me time and to process our feelings and our emotions, because it can unintentionally and inadvertently become, a coping mechanism or an addiction.
I can eat at you.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing more unhealthy. Like even if you're spending time with your family, if you're not taking time to decompress and process things, it's a ticking time bomb.
I also had a death in the family back in September, like 3 months after everything was, while I was trying to cope with all that stuff. And that was rough. And I think it was like 2 months after I finally decided to go see a therapist, because I was like, this is a lot.
Well, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Actually doing that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
I was meaning to do it for a while, then I was like, using the excuse, I'm busy. I don't have time. I want to just focus on things. But then I was like, I need to make it happen.
That's awesome.
Well, every emotion, so this is kind of how I look at it. Everything you experience is a gift.
The tattoo right here says life is a gift. It's every
Absolutely.
good and the bad. Yeah.
The when you're at your lowest, you'll learn your deepest lessons. When you're going through just that hardship, that's what builds you up.
Yes.
That's what can lead you to who you are meant to be.
Yep.
The darkness doesn't exist without the light, and you have to sit in it and learn to appreciate it, and learn whatever you figure out what you need to learn out of that. Because my biggest thing, and what I teach my daughter, is that if you don't learn a lesson from it, it's useless. It's just useless pain. And I don't have any patience for uselessness in life. If I can't figure it out, I will try my damnedest to figure out what the lesson is from whatever bad thing just happened to me. You need that patience to sit in it, feel it, let it form you. I mean, diamonds are formed under pressure, right? And you can use it as a tool to motivate you harder, to grind harder in business, but don't neglect the feelings and the emotions, because there's a lesson there that's not part of business. It's part of who you are and who you're going to become.
Right.
And if you toss it aside, you're not going to become who you're supposed to be.
Yep. So much can be said off of all of this.
Yeah.
The first thing that popped up is pressure's a privilege. I've always heard that. You always hear like diamonds are made from pressure, all that, the
Right.
cliche analogies. But
Hey,
pressure's
come on. That was a good.
Well, no, I'm not. I don't mean.
I'm just kidding.
You know what I'm saying. But anyway, but it's like pressure's a privilege, and that's where kind of we've been given a gift, and a lot of that. I think back for me personally, getting to that ticking time bomb piece. That we started our business in 2011. The pandemic, like obviously we're 6 years removed from that. Had that never happened, I don't know if I would be where I'm at now, being able to make the impact that I feel that our business is going to make.
You had to make that pivot. Right.
It wasn't necessarily a pivot. It was pivot on how to address business.
Right.
But I almost pivoted out of where I know my calling is, because I wasn't dealing with the stuff. And when you go into entrepreneurship, self-development, all the stuff about growing, but if you never address where you came from, like if you never address like the wounds, like the growth I've had in the last 6 years since I kind of was able to like reevaluate and no, I've got to deal with that, not from a standpoint of like, oh, woe is me. It's a matter of how can I grow from that and use dad died at 10, like super independent, don't ask for help. I process things very analytically, but you don't need, like when you go through something bad, don't isolate. But if you try to do everything in just the way your mind processes by yourself, seeing a therapist is always good, that if you don't address the certain things and heal them, or at least understand them, you're going to be doing a disservice to your family, your clients, whatever it might be down the road. And that's where I think people take the time to sit and feel, not to wallow, but to learn and grow from it. And I think a lot of people avoid that because it hurts too much. But on the other side of pain, I think is a big growth point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think adversity is a gift from God. I really do.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people say, oh, that's the devil trying to pull me down. I believe God gave us all this gift to change the world, right?
Yep.
And he watches us go through life and get complacent and get focused on the wrong things and just coast through trying to make it to the finish line. And he knocks us on our ass and says, hey, remember, you're called to greatness, right? So like in those moments of darkness, at those moments of rock bottom, that's where we kind of recalibrate and refine ourselves and rediscover ourselves. So it's, yeah, I mean, I have so many tattoos on my, Forged in Fire on my neck, right? Because the hardships I've gone through in life have led to some of the most meaningful evolutions in my life and discovering my purpose and my meaning. And it's opened so many doors.
Yeah. All that to say as well, it's okay to not be okay. Like that is totally fine. Like I'd hang out with buddies when I was in my stupor, my down, my lowest again, and I'd be like, "Nah, man, I'm not all right, but I am just gonna sit in it and to coast. Learn from this. Yeah. Like I can't. There are things that I can't let slide. I need to keep raising my daughter. I need to keep working. I need to push." But in that time, it's okay to be like, to not just have to all the time. Like
everything is awesome.
Yeah, everything's awesome. It's truly part of developing and learning, and then communicating with the people around you, your friends, and being able to be honest. Like honesty has become for me
huge.
So important because I grew up kind of putting on an act of being the person that I thought other people wanted me to be.
Authenticity.
But I'd sit there and keep like what I truly thought and felt aside. Mm-hmm. And I kept that up until like 5 years ago. Now there's a fine line to walk because I truly think you can decide who you want to be. You don't like something, fix it. But it takes some acting for a bit until that sticks. Mm-hmm. But you still have to be continually insistent on what actually matters to you, why you're forming who you're going to be. And you need to surround yourself with people that if you're honest with them about what you think, you're honest with them about how you feel about things, and they don't want to hang out with you anymore, that's not a true friendship. And that was a lesson someone taught me like 5 years back. They're like, "Oh, so you're lying." I'm like, "No, I'm just not."
Just withholding the truth.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there listening. He's like, if the people around you like truly respected you, then you should just say what you think and not feel that you just have to like sit there quietly and go along with these things you don't agree with. And I'm like, holy shit.
Well, and I think we have to honor the fact that there's like an evolutionary component to that, a survival mechanism, right? Mm-hmm. Like throughout history, we didn't want to get exiled from the tribe, right?
Yep.
And so we try to blend in and conform, right? And then life becomes about overriding that and honoring who you uniquely are, right?
Right. Well, and that's a huge problem too. I mean, we'll get way off topic if we go hard on it, but maybe another day. The tribalism.
Yeah.
Like if you're a successful entrepreneur, you will break the mold of tribalism because you don't fit into the little box of one or the other, or whatever you're supposed to be, because you have to have the mindset that actually flips that box upside down and pours it out and reconfigures it and builds.
Right.
There's not I mean, we have a tribe in the way we're doing Off the Clock, but it's a tribe of misfits.
Yeah.
And it's celebrating what actually brings us together, this drive, this thing that we have. We will not be satisfied with a standard job. Yeah. We will not be satisfied with limits. Like, we will never be okay, because if you're working that job and you reach your cap, you're going to just get bored and move on to the next thing. Or you're going to be miserable for a long time, because the people who have this mindset, you can't make that go away. It's an itch. It's a tick. You got to go.
Right.
And I was encouraging a friend of mine the other day who's just like, he's working like 3 different jobs, and he has worked his way out of those jobs where each of them have said, if I paid you what you're worth, I could never afford you. And he's just like, I just don't know. I'm like, they told you exactly the solution, man. Like, you are undervalued there because they can't afford to keep you on. I told him, you are a serial entrepreneur, and all these companies you've done, you've redone their whole systems, you've optimized it. You became the boss when you weren't even the boss, and you're right here. Like, you need to start your own business now and start planning your exit strategy for every business you work with. You need to do this because you're going to work yourself ragged, not being paid enough, not being given the real responsibilities that you deserve.
Yeah.
And and all of it ties into this balance that we're talking about. But next person.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I'd like to say something with work-life balance, and kind of to touch on some things. So, you know, and you can flip this if you want. I don't know if someone's out there listening to this or watching this who needs to hear this, but if you're struggling with depression or some type of mental health struggle, I definitely greatly encourage you going to talk to somebody, reaching out to a friend, go to therapy. It can be the best thing for you. It can save your life. A lot of people want you here. A lot of people love you. And just go and do that. I lost a friend recently, one of my good brothers, to something tragic. So go talk to somebody, go reach out, go get help. And yeah.
You don't have to be alone.
Yeah, we're all here for you. We're in this together.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, there's 700,000 suicides globally every year. That's more than one per minute. And when you talk about pain as a conduit for purpose, imagine what was on the other side of waiting for them, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, not to harp on that, but, you know, suicide has been a big part of my life, and I almost took my own life. I was in prison, was locked in solitary confinement. I tried to kill myself, and thank God I didn't, right?
Thank God.
Yeah.
And so that's such a scary statistic when I heard that, you know, it's more than one per minute as we sit here. It's, you know, probably 30 people have taken their own lives. And again, as we touch on it, as you look around you, like, the world's full of people who discovered meaning and purpose and impact at their rock bottom. So just know, like, your future self is counting on you. That's what I always say, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Future family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find a community, and no matter what it takes, find something you love. Find people to surround yourself with that will lift you up, that you align with. And I know that's not always the easiest thing, but you don't have to take this on alone. Mm-hmm. And there's a huge male loneliness epidemic happening right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's this huge confusion across the board of what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that we empower each other and help lift each other up. And we're at a unique point in time where what it means to be a man has shifted, and it's okay to be masculine, but it's okay to process things. Mm-hmm. Because the way things are now, how intense everything is, keeping it all inside like that 60s dad did, it's not really doable. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to talk things out with people you can trust, and you have to surround yourself with people. Therapist will help, but surround yourself with peers.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can process things. I process by explaining how I feel. My wife hates it. But it's important.
Yeah, you're good at it.
Because describing it and explaining it, I need personally to hear it said from my lips to fully understand what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's why some people
Journaling's
talk to
good too.
themselves. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually going to start doing that here soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really how I am even here today, is dealing with that stuff from my past, dealing with the deep, dark stuff. And by talking to people, by having a great community, that's the only reason why I'm sitting here, along with, you know, other miracles in my life. But yeah, it's a true pleasure to be able to sit here with you guys, you know, and talk about work-life balance and what's the most important. And I think that, you know, life, when it gets hard, when it gets really, really hard, you know, to be able to balance our work in those times is crucial. Personally, you know, I deal with that as a man of faith. You know, that's how I deal with my tough stuff when it gets really hard. You know, my own personal kind of mini story is I didn't see a purpose to suffering or to living, and then God gave me that purpose back, and that's why I'm here, right? And I just want to help as many people as possible, you know, to change their lives and to save their lives. So
That's beautiful, man. I mean, it really comes down, like, going off what you said, it comes down to discipline.
right.
And discipline isn't always about how hard you can work. the discipline of making yourself schedule the things that shouldn't have to be scheduled because you're working so hard on everything else. The discipline of recognizing the value of time. Whether it's, you can sit there and be on your phones doom scrolling when your kid's sitting right next to you wondering when you're going to look over. Or if you actually watched that cartwheel they just did.
Right.
Or if you, they're always watching. So being disciplined with how we spend our time, how we prioritize the things that are important to us, how we take time for ourselves outside of the grind,
right,
is just as important as being disciplined on how you compartmentalize that work. There's no right or wrong way. And quite honestly, there's so many people to learn from, but in reality, every generation, we're on our own. I had an issue with parenting years ago. I don't even remember what it was about, but I'm like, okay, I could reach out to my mom and dad, but this is kind of unique to what I'm in. And I do know what their answer is going to be because I really absorbed what they had to say. And I was like, who would they reach out to? Well, probably their pastor. But their pastor is the same age as them. There isn't some sage wisdom other than maybe, what they can pull from the Bible. But I kind of already know what the Bible would say about this too. And I'm like, who do people go? We're the adults now. We are the adults. We are the parents. And then I had that full realization. I'm like, whoa, okay. So when my parents were in this position, they also had just no one. There's a million books to read.
The best they could.
But everyone's doing the best they can with what they have. Everyone, at least you hope people are doing the best they can.
Right.
But it's just in the end, you got to cut yourself some slack. You got to give yourself some grace and then just keep going back to the fight. And you have to become a person that you're proud of every single day.
Right.
One more story about what I teach my daughter is I personally don't bring religion into it. I put the pressure on her. I tell her, are you proud of how you acted today? What did you do that you're not proud of? I make her self-evaluate because growing up, I think I've told this on the podcast before. I'm going to make it short, but growing up, it was always under the lens of if I made God proud of me. But then later, when I did something good in business, or I achieved something, or I got through a really hard thing, it's like, oh, thank you, God. All honor goes back to you. I'm like, it's kind of messed up because I'd have no self-value.
Yeah.
And I want her to have self-value. I want her to recognize I did something good and stand up and just be proud. But if she does something wrong, I know she's just like me. She knows, and she already feels that shame. So I encourage her to sit in it, to experience it, to learn from it, and then to move on. Because I'm like, that feeling you feel right now is because you know you did something wrong. You know that you could have lifted somebody else up, but instead you bickered with them, or you fought with them, or you didn't encourage someone else. And I encourage her to think, you can't change it now. It happened. You did something that you could have done better. So what are you going to do different? And that's where it always comes back to. It's not me drilling into her she's bad. No, not at all. It's her recognizing the potential, how good she could be, and feeling bad about doing wrong, but always pursuing doing good and lifting the people around her up. Because I tell her, you're a leader. You are destined to be a leader. I see it in you. I'm like, is that who you want to be? Oh, yeah. Then every decision you make is lifting people up, bringing people together, speaking life into this world. And that's your responsibility, and that's where we end it. So
beautiful.
It's powerful. And and she knows all the Bible stories. She's allowed to do that, get into religion if it brings her comfort, but I want her to cope and create her own comfort, her own self-worth, her own consequence. I want that to be on her mind all the time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, to piggyback on that, experienced myself a real form of false humility. You know, I would really tear myself down, or if I did something great, it was, you know, all glory to God, but forgetting me, right? And you got to love your neighbor as you do yourself. And if you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody, right? And so that deep work, that inner work, that mindset work, that acknowledgement of what I've done and being proud of it and being okay, and then also feeling that shame when I've messed up, and not just like putting it on, you know, something else, but owning up to it and changing my life, right?
Oh, I sinned. Repent. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah. No more. Yeah.
I think that that inner work is like a big piece of it. Is just you can't give what you don't have. So how can you love other people if you don't love yourself? Right? So healing that part. But you said something about false humility, and I was thinking about something to say, and I'm like, I don't think it's the right time, but you brought it up. So I'm like, humility. What I've heard is that it's not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
Right.
And just that can kind of come back to when things are hard, we start like focusing inward as opposed to focusing outward, and that can kind of help with that spiral that we all experience. But just like running it through that filter, don't think less of yourself. We're all valuable. We're all made in the image of God, like all of that. But think of yourself less. How can I serve others? And that helps with a lot of that piece there as well.
Yeah,
I love your one-liners.
Yeah. Another one-liner is
He's like the king of one-liners for over here. Damn.
Every time, man. I can always count on you.
another one-liner I like about humility is knowing your place and taking your place.
Okay.
Right. And sometimes we have to realize what our place is before we can take it. Right. And sometimes it's good to take a lower place so that you can be brought up higher rather than take the best place and then be humbled and put down lower, right? And so I think it's really important to have humility, especially in work and in life, because if you have that balance, I think that's the most important balance, because I can't stand some of these business guys that are so prideful and they think that they're so great and they don't have a relationship with their family. They're not really happy deep down when you ask them. And that's something that I really focus on, is how to be happy, how to be successful, and how to do it the right way long term.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I just commend you for that, you know, that story you told and how you engage with your daughter. It just is a beautiful picture of, you know, engaged, conscious parenting. I think so much in the Western world, parenting's become about just making sure your kids are successful and they get good grades and they follow the rules. But the way I see it, and you touched on it beautifully, is like, you know, a good parent is equivalent to like, picture what a good boss or a good leader or a good coach is, right? They're not solving problems for you. They're not reprimanding you when you do something wrong. They're not setting rules and boundaries. They're empowering you. Right? Like if you want a perfect boss, it's someone who empowers you and gives you autonomy and gives you guardrails, but then lets you go learn on your own. Right? And like, there's nothing more valuable as a kid than learning that self-reflection, and like no one else's opinion really matters except yourself, because you're the one who's going to learn from it. Right.
I've had a few of those bosses, the ones that weren't good.
Yeah.
They were definitely the opposite of trying to lift you up. Like they were like beating you down.
And it takes away your self-belief and your confidence and everything else, which will impact you for the rest of your life, especially as a kid. Right?
Oh, that's a great comparison too, as far as a good boss or a good leader, because I've talked to people about, you know, operations of things and running the business in a good way and how to inspire your employees to follow. But in just the same way that like I'll go hard on my daughter, right? She needs to feel the wrath in that moment, but as I bring her back out of it, it's a full circle thing. Just like if a person screws up royally and you don't plan on firing them, they need to understand the consequence of their mistake and what it cost the business and what they did wrong.
Everything's a learning lesson.
Full honesty. This was bad because of this reason, and this was the consequence. But everything should be used as a learning opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything should be reiterated. Because if you just bash somebody, but you don't tell them what to do differently, or you don't guide them it doesn't come full circle,
They don't grow.
they never will.
Right.
All they'll feel is just bashed and ashamed. So we were talking about like having the rigorous structure, teaching people how to follow that rigorous structure, optimizing it in the business, making it work just as perfectly as it can, and then easing them into it. And if they stray from it, punishment as a boss. But then having it be the type of environment where they're empowered because they can see how it works so much better, but they're also given near the end, as it comes full circle, if you know a better way, and if you can show me the better way of doing this, please tell me.
Right.
Please collaborate with me. We all want this business to succeed so we can keep feeding our families, or we can go have a drink later. Well, whatever it looks like.
Right.
If they're empowered to think that they can come back to the boss or the parent and actually, I get like, if they're empowered to where they can tell their boss like, hey, I think this is actually better this way. Can we try it?
Right.
A good boss will be like, absolutely, let's try it. You do it your way, I'll do it my way right now, and we'll see. Maybe we'll learn something about my way that needs to be tweaked. Or maybe you've just found the amazing thing that's going to make everything better, and reward them for that. But bringing it back to parenting, I tell her to do something. She gets one. She can ask me why. I won't punish her for asking me why, but she needs to ask me why so I can tell her why and she can understand. And I also encourage her to offer an alternative of what she would like to do if she doesn't want to do that. Like she's open to asking once, but after that conversation's been done and I've reiterated this is why, now please do the thing I've asked you to do, then there will be consequence later. And I'm trying to get that structure into play, because then she always feels like she can, if she truly wants to understand, absolutely. And I'm trying to teach her that, so when she's an employee, she feels open to asking, why do we do it this way? And then offering an alternative. And if you teach these kids this at this young age, to have that active thought process, most of the time it's just because she wants to watch the rest of her show or play on Roblox or do whatever the kid wants to do. But if she starts to train herself to question what she's been told, but in a constructive way, and then move forward from it, okay, well, I guess this is what's happening. That will make a good entrepreneur, a good employee, a good communicator, because you should always be able to ask why, you know, in life. I never want to raise her to be a person who won't ask why, out of genuine interest as to why.
Yeah. I was known as the why guy. I loved asking the question why about everything. Why is the sky blue? Why is this here? Why is this person here?
Yeah.
Why everything? Because why matters. I think why matters most. And, you know, I don't know if you guys have heard of Simon Sinek, but I think he puts it really well. The why is the center and everything else branches out. And so,
I like that.
yeah. And if we figure out our why, then we know everything else. And I like to add on to that, if we don't know our why, everything else will shape our why. The how, the what, all of that forms the why. And so we have to sometimes reform the why, pivot, and understand why we're doing what we're doing, why we have the work-life balance that we do, why we care about our kids and our loved ones, and why we're doing the work we're doing for them.
That's great.
Right.
Well, I think that we're ready to wrap.
Think so.
What do you guys think?
I think we hit some good stuff tonight.
Yeah.
A really good conversation. I had a feeling that this was going to be
It's gonna be a good
A
one.
good one.
a good
My
one.
my final thought is just, you know, and I brought this up at the off the clock meeting, but is delegation is so important. You know, when we talk about work-life balance, a lot of us are wearing a lot of different hats within our business. Not enough of us have read Buy Back Your Time, right? And it's like, you know, hire an assistant, if you're just a one-man show and you have 2 employees, hire a 3rd employee. Like, try it out for a month. You don't have to keep them, right? It might not be the right fit. It might be too soon, but, you know, when we're investing into our business, we shouldn't just be investing to grow. We should be investing to buy back our time so we can have that work-life balance.
The pursuit of freedom.
It's just such a paradox in entrepreneurship is that we think we need to do it all ourselves. Nothing gets done right if we don't do it ourselves. And that's been a big key component in my business and growth. It leads to growth. The more you bring on staff and team members, people with a collective vision, your business can start to run without you.
Right.
Right. I think you always have to be building up to something.
Yeah.
You have to be hyper focused, but not just on the next business goal. It's the next thing for the family, the next thing for your personal development. You can't neglect either side of the pyramid of a friend's family work. It all has to be building towards something. You need to have goals across the board. And something will always give on either side. Something will always need to be, you only have so much time in the day. But I think actively setting goals for your personal life, just like you're actively setting goals for your family, just like you're actively setting goals for your business, that's how you disperse the discipline across the board. And that's a really great point to delegate and to not be so proud that you're the only one that can possibly do it. And that ties into our next meeting about like how would your business succeed if you weren't there, and what are you building towards?
Yeah, the difference between being self-employed and a business owner.
Yeah.
Right. And I like what Alex said. It's one word: delegation.
Delegation.
It's just important because, some people haven't heard that or they haven't heard it enough. And it's like, if you're listening to this thinking, man, I wish I had more time, like that might be a good starting point.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, ultimate leverage there.
Well, let's go around the table and do it. Are there any other closing thoughts on this
I
conversation?
think the final thing for me is congruency. Everything you do has to tie in business to family, like it all get there, So congruency in everything that you do. And then begin with the end in mind. Like everything that you're doing has to, this is where I see myself. Like I've got a 5-year plan. By the time I'm 50, when little man's 5 years old, like I know where I want to be, and then I can reverse engineer it from there. And then every step I take doesn't line up with getting me closer or farther away from where I'm going. And anybody can do that, whether you're an entrepreneur, 9 to 5, whatever it is. Don't just fall into the rat race and sit on the hamster wheel. Do something congruent, getting you where you're going.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, Alex.
Yeah.
Good camera work.
He deserves a raise now.
Hey, I'm gonna hire you, man. You're good with
And
the camera.
cameraman.
I think in closing for me, there's just so much that's been said, and I really appreciate all you guys being here. After that last meeting at Off the Clock, I knew that this conversation was going to be powerful. And I mean, as the guy who clips it up, I don't even know where to start because
There's
just
definite value tonight.
Absolutely,
Definitely a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that I love that Isadore, you brought up anyone who's in that darkest moment and struggling. That's something that we should always have on our mind, because you never know who you're brushing up against that's going through the absolute worst moment of their life, but just putting on a happy face. And it's always a good reminder that there are people out there who I'd grab a cup of coffee with anybody. Like reach out, especially within this group, like people that have been part of the beginning of Off the Clock as we've kind of grown together. I can confidently say every single person that is part of our group would be happy to talk to someone who's in a dark spot.
We drop what we're doing. I guarantee that. Like Alex, we just connected a week ago. And like I feel super, like if there was vice versa, like you called, I called, whatever, like I know that. And that's cool about the environment that you're creating there. So
Definitely.
And the caliber of people that you attract.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm really just honored to have you guys here on the podcast and part of the group, and it's very exciting.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Any other closing thoughts on the topic? I would like everyone to have the chance to do a shout out of what you're working on, your handles, stuff like that, so people can find you. We'll start with you, Isadore.
All right.
Do you have Instagram yet?
Isadore Goldstein. Do not have Instagram yet. Going to have
At the
Travis
time of this
help me with
recording,
that.
at least.
At the time of this recording.
By the time it's
Claim your handle right now.
claim it now.
Your goal is to have that before I post this episode, okay?
Exactly. But yeah, just getting into a business ownership and entrepreneurship. So putting that out there, also a licensed insurance producer. So if you need anything with insurance, reach out. But mainly, if you know anybody that can help a young guy like me succeed and become the best version of himself, please reach out.
Awesome.
Yeah, best place to follow me is just on Instagram at Alex Donnolo. You can learn a lot about what I'm doing there. I'm a real estate investor and coach. I got a book coming out, do some public speaking, and I'm passionate about helping people. So,
Love it.
Instagram at Brian_Horan. I think there's an underscore at the end, but Travis will tag it. Your local financial professional. So if you're looking for a way to kind of start building a life by design and not by default, starts with learning how money works and getting your money working hard for you because you work hard for your money. And like you said, I always want to help people become the best version of themselves. So feel free to reach out.
You can follow us at Marine Rescue CDA. We do marine towing and salvage in Lake Coeur d'Alene and anywhere near Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. We do a lot of community events as well. We're doing a cleanup event in the springtime. Come out and hang out with us. Check out our content.
amazing.
Travis, founder of Off the Clock and Inspire Studios. I'm a co-owner in that. We offer the full agency model for marketing and basically meet you where you are and figure out if we can elevate your business and give you a good solid strategy to do that. Follow Off the Clock Instagram. I don't remember the handle.
Nice.
Just look it up.
It'll be tagged on
It'll be tagged.
on there.
If
There's
you're-
only
if you-
one.
If you found us here, you're probably in the right spot. But I open invitation to anybody who wants to come out. It's every other Thursday at the Racketeer Lounge, and then we also will be launching very soon the second meeting that will happen in the off week at Terroir Fine Wine, just for the people who can't quite handle the smoke, which is fine.
But they can handle the drink.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
walk
it's
the
wine
smoke.
o'clock somewhere. We're just gonna start. We're just gonna start making all the shirts for that too. We're really excited. I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Travis.
Love it.